Hey guys, Greg with Tales from the Pythian, and welcome back to the Curse of Strahd series. We are prepping the Curse of Strahd in Foundry VTT. We're using Beneos battle maps and an assortment of modules. The list of modules can be found under the timestamps down in the description when you get done watching the video. There will be additional information that's posted down there as required, right? So let's do a little recap of where we've been and where we're going. So we started at the very beginning, and we did the Gates of Barovia, and we did Davlin's Corpse, and then we went directly into Death House. So there's a couple different ways that you can do Death House, right? You can do Death House outside of the Village of Barovia. You can do Death House inside the Village of Barovia. So we went with doing prepping it up in case, people wanted to run it outside, run it first, however you wanted to do it. It was good to go. Another thing that we're doing with this video series is that we're using elements of the Rules as Written, Dragnacarta's Reloaded, and of Pyram King's Legends of Barovia. So for the focus of Barovia Village, we are definitely using Dragnacarta's version, which is really awesome, streamlines a lot of things, remove some unnecessary locations and some awkwardness that might go with those locations. A good example of that would be Mad Mary's townhome, right? Players wander in there after they hear crying in Rules as Written, which I always thought was kind of weird. Who goes into a house that they're not invited into? Vampires don't. Anyway, we're going to get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of showcase again Beneos battle map. So we're seeing it here on the screen. This is the Village of Barovia map, and I would just want to share the fly through intro scene for the village that that he has in here. So here we go. It's pretty cool. You can imagine reading your narrative to your players as this video kind of plays through. That chilling, kind of creepy ambiance. We roll up into the streets here. So what are some other things that get taken out of the Rules as Written with Dragnacarta's stuff? So we remove the encounter with the Night Hag, the Peddler of Pies, if you will, Morgantha. That does not take place inside of the town of Barovia. It's going to take place outside of Barovia later. So that's something that we'll get to at another point in time. So after you show your players this nifty little video, we can go back to the overview of the village. And we're going to deal with three areas today. We're going to deal with Bildraths, right? We're not going to go through the boring parts, but I'm going to just show you how we can use a scene and a new method I'm going to try to do with my merchants, okay? So we're going to do Bildraths. We're going to talk about the Blood of the Vine Tavern and the changes that take place with Dragnacarta's version of Curse of Strahd. And then we're going to look at the Burgomasters Mansion. Okay, so first and foremost, Bildrath's Mercantile here. So I'm just going to jump into this scene. It's a pretty neat scene. So we're going to put an item pile merchant in here, and we're going to put a tile that has Bildrath. So the idea here is I've oftentimes created merchants using tokens of the actual NPC. And what I found is that can be problematic if I have a scene I need that token on and I don't need it to be a merchant. Now I have to have duplicates. So we're going to do a different method. So first and foremost, Bildrath's Mercantile. Let's go ahead and create an actor, and we're going to call it Bildrath's Mercantile. Okay, and we're going to make it a non-player character. And then once it's created, we're going to browse up here to the artwork, that we do. And then we're going to just grab this stack of coins, right? So the idea here is these coins are going to be placed on the board and be representative of a store, any store. That's what I'm going to use, but it will be named appropriately in my list, so I know where to place the correct ones. So we'll just pop in the prototype token, and we're going to come in here and put that there as well. So now we're going to make it an item pile. So as you know, we click the little box. Pardon me, guys. We're going to enable the item pile. We're going to go other settings. We're going to turn this into a merchant. For the merchant image, we're going to come in here and we're going to go to our root, go to Molinet, Adventures, Beneos Battle Maps, Universe, Assets, Battle Maps, Map Assets, all the way to the bottom, Tokens, COS tokens, and we're going to find Bildrath's token right here. And we're going to select that image so that when they open the store, that's the image they will see. So we're going to have an image, the item pile that will be seen on the map. And then when the interface opens up, they'll see Mr. Cantemir himself. So it says that in the rules is written, he has, everything from the adventuring gear table, and it's 10 times the cost. So the only change that Dragna makes to that is he makes it 2 times the cost. And if Ismark happens to be with the players, it's 5 times the cost. So I will be honest with you, I'm not sure how to do the if this then that, but the price modifier part's pretty easy. So right down here under the item pile type, we scroll down just a little bit and we have price modifiers. So right now he is set to sell these things at 100% of cost and then buy them for 50% of the cost. You just got to read these backwards. So this is the players selling. He's going to buy it for 50% of the cost so he can make his margins. And if the players are buying, he's selling items for 100%. Well, we need that to be 200% because we need it to be twice as much. And that's really it. So then if we update the item pile, we'll see the interface changes. It's Bildrath's Mercantile. We have a token of Bildrath courtesy of Beneos Battle Maps here. We'll add a description later. And then let's just double check the items for sale here. So if I go to my D&D Beyond items, this arcane focus, this crystal has a cost of 10 gold pieces, right? So if we take and we drag and we drop this into the store, it should show up for 20 gold pieces, and it does. And that's because we changed the markup price in the back end, right? So I'm free now to just kind of come in here, go down the equipment list, pick all the things that, I think need to be on here. So like here's a bell. Let's see, and just double check again here. So the bell is a gold piece, so that should come in as 2. And there it is. And then the bedroll is a gold piece, so also should come in as 2, right? And so on and so forth. And then I can just populate this, and then the store is built. So then it's just a matter of taking it inside of the scene. So let's build the scene out now. So we're just going to pull this item pile right here. Comes in pretty small. So we're going to select it, and I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts, and I'm going to just enlarge it here. Make it big enough that it is, obvious. My players will see gold. That's 100% factual. We'll place it right there. And we use quick scale is what I use to use keyboard shortcuts. It's the bracket keys. It's a quick scale module that we installed back at the beginning. Just speeds up the sizing of things. So we'll go to tiles next, and we're just going to pop right in here. I happen to be in the wrong folder. So what I did was I took the character portrait for Bildrath that was provided by Beneos Battle Maps. I took it into a photo editing software, and I just kind of removed the background, made it transparent, right? So we'll just drag him out. We're going to use the same deal here. We're going to just shrink him down just a smidge. Put him back here. We're going to adjust that size a little more. And then we'll just set him back here where it looks like he's kind of behind the counter. Standing there, maybe we drop him a little bit more. There we go. And let's lock that in place, right? So now we have Bildrath, Cantemir, and we have the store all available for the players to check out when they come in here. And we have a nice role-playing scene. Chances are low of a battle breaking out in here. If we do have one, of course, Ben's got us covered. We have Periwhipple, we have Bildrath, we have the downstairs, we have the upstairs should we need it. but predominantly I feel that we'll probably be using just the scene here. So that's it. That's Bildrath's Mercantile. So we can go back to this overview, and then let's talk a little bit about the whoops, I went a little too far. Let's talk a little bit about Blood of the Vine Tavern. So one of the first changes that's made, if we go to the scene here, one of the first changes that's made is that there is a statue near Blood of the Vine Tavern in the square of Ismark the Greater, or Ismark the Great. And this is an ancestor of Ismark Koyanovich here in town, or in Dirovich rather, and is an ancestor. Okay, so I really wanted to place that statue here, and we're going to do a little trick with it. So we'll pop back in here. We're very close to it. We'll go up to artwork, scenery objects, and here we go. So we have this statue. So the trick here is to get it of a size that's adequate and make it be in a location that's not too obtrusive. And then we would like to add, it says that the statue bears a weather-worn plaque at its base that reads, Ismark Antonovich the Great, Burgomaster of Barovia, Bane of Vampires, 618 to 662 BC, which is Barovia calendar. So we're gonna make that happen here. We're just gonna go to our triggers, and we're gonna make this an on click. For anybody, even when it's paused, it doesn't matter. And we're gonna come in here, and we're gonna just do we'll probably do a text. How about a show dialogue? That'll work. And we'll just do it an alert. And we will literally take this and copy it. Right? Just copy it straight out of here. Straight off the web. Copy. Paste. We've got the whole thing. It's great. And we'll call it Ismark the Great. And then for the triggering player, and we'll just update it and apply. And then really anybody that clicks on it should get that. So we could actually come back in here. Let's do this. It's a little off, isn't it? Did you guys see that? I missed the I. I didn't copy the I. Look, Ismark. So we could, we'll do this. Weathered. Weathered. I could spell right. Gosh, guys, let's do it this way. Let's call it what he calls it. An old chipped stone statue. Right? Let's do that. Bearing a weather-worn plaque at its base. I wonder if that will all fit. Think that'll all fit? I don't know. Let's see. Bearing. Oops, caps lock. Bearing. A weather-worn plaque at its base. Let's update that. And let's update that. And let's see what we get here. Yeah, see, it's that's too long. So we'll just alter it just one more time. Come right back in here. Let's see. How about we say a weather-worn plaque at its base reads ... Update. Boom. A weather-worn plaque at its base reads, Ismark Antonovich the Great, Burgomaster of Barovia, Bane of Vampire, 618 to 662 BC. Beautiful. I think that's good. We can lock that down. And then anytime anybody clicks on it, like I said, good to go. They can look at it as many times as they want to. But we have this kind of here. We add it into our description as they're coming into Blood of the Vine Tavern, and I think that takes care of our exterior. And so let's take a look at the interior for a minute and just talk through the changes. So the first thing that changes are these three Vistani are not the owners of the tavern in this version. They are from Sir Pool, and they've come here to drink and gather information. Shortly after the players arrive, they will leave and they'll go back to Sir Pool and inform Madame Eva and their companions of the players' arrival. Also in the Blood of the Vine Tavern, when the players arrive, will be Bildrath Cantemir, right? So if we come into the Beneos actors and we go down to the Village of Barovia, which I already have open. So we'll pull Bildrath in here. He's sitting at a table. We have Ismark, and then we're also going to need Mad Mary. Okay. And I think one of the biggest differences in this version is that nobody's hiding there's no hiding the fact that these people know that they're trapped in this place, and they have no illusion over who the cause of it is, and that they're basically powerless to stop it. And they're able to really give the players a lot of information at the beginning. Ismark needs help, and when he sees the players and he recognizes that they're not from here, he wants to talk to them. And he wants to talk to them about what's going on. He's going to buy their drinks from them, and all the things that happen in the rules is written where he's going to buy their drinks, he's going to talk with them, and he's going to invite them to come and stay back at the Burgomasters Mansion, which is all great, right? The things that change in this dynamic are, one, Morgantha is not an issue inside of Village of Barovia. Number two, Blood of the Vine Tavern happens to be the first stop. Bildrath's in here. They can always go to the Mercantile later, but he's in here. He gets pissed at Ismark, calls him Ismark the Lesser, which then correlates to the statue we just did outside of the tavern, and kind of gives some kind of like an atmosphere of what's going on here, right? But there's an angry exchange, and as this angry exchange is happening, Mad Mary enters, and she's basically petitioning Ismark, who is the burgomaster now that his dad's dead, right? Petitioning him to help find Gertruda. And they change, or not they, but the backstory of Mad Mary and Gertruda is changed in the reloaded version. I really like the way this is written so much better. But she petitions Ismark, hey, Gertruda's gone. She's been gone. She's not come home. And he promises to go search for her, which causes another outburst from Bildrath, who eventually leaves. Mad Mary leaves. The players continue their conversation with Ismark, and then everybody goes back to the Burgomasters Mansion, right? So there's nothing really that happens in here that requires any type of manipulation of the environment. It is just an absolute straight role-playing event, which I love. I think that this really streamlines the Village of Barovia and provides it more as a stepping stone into the greater valley, and less time is really spent kind of having to wander around and making the sandboxy, right? So like you have an element of the sandbox in the Village of Barovia, and we don't necessarily want the Village of Barovia to be sandboxy, which it kind of is in the rules as written. So really the flow here goes into the tavern, to the mansion. From there you go to potentially Bildrath's. If you need to, you might not ever go there. And then, of course, the church, which will be a video all by itself. And And then, off we go out into the valley once everything kind of wraps up here. So it's a very streamlined, it's pretty cool. There is material for coming into the village that foreshadows Muriel Vinshaw. She's the raven that kind of guides them in. Again, this is something that has to be role played. There's not a lot of preparation that goes into that besides reading. And, that's part of our thing too, as game masters, right? We do a lot of reading. So in short, that is that's what's happening here at the Blood of the Vine Tavern. So let's pop over to the mansion. I'm actually going to pop back one spot. I would like to show you the intro scene for the tavern, because it's pretty cool. Now, the cool thing about these is you can pause these, start these in any location, depending on what you've got going on. So you're walking down the road. Of course, we're not going to have the statue, which is, is what it is. Can't do anything about that. But these intro scenes are very fantastic for immersion for the players as the game master is reading the descriptive text, whether you're doing that on the fly from your head, you're reading it off the web page or a printed copy, whatever. It really adds a good atmosphere to it. My players really do like any time that they get to experience Ben's maps here. So pretty cool. Pop back over, and then we're going to go out to the Village of Barovia, and we're going to pop on down to the Burgomasters Mansion. All right. So here, again, we're going to have a little bit of prep. In here, not much, right? So the gist of this is they get back to the mansion very much as in rules is written. Ismark has the players, knock on the door. Irina comes, looks through the peephole, lets everybody in. Her and Ismark go and have a conversation off to the side. The players can attempt to overhear that if they want to, and that's where really some of the checks start applying. We start getting perception checks going on there. Ismark will depart after a while to go do a search party for Gertruda. This gives the players an opportunity to talk with Irina, ask her some questions, and of course, we know that there's a whole plethora of information that we can disseminate to our players that both foreshadow and hook things. The Ismark, when he returns or prior to departing, will of course ask the players about, the players will want to go to Valaki. It will be mentioned, whether that be the players want to go because they've talked about it in the tavern, or Ismark can broach the subject about the players escorting Irina to St. Andrew's in Valaki. There's many different ways that whole thread can transpire and kick off. So regardless of how that happens, the topic will be broached. The players will agree to take Irina. Irina will refuse until their father is buried, because remember, their father is dead. And this is what's causing a lot of consternation. And Irina has already been approached by Strahd as the players come in. She's of course wearing a scarf around her neck because she's been bitten. So there's a lot going on here. A very, very good role-playing opportunity, all of this. So what do we need for in here? I said there wasn't much that is to be found, and that's true. So one of the interesting things that's added is that Dragna writes in here that when the players retire to their rooms, one of them finds a torn excerpt of Van Richten's Guide to Vampires by Dr. Rudolf Van Richten sitting on a night table by the bed. And that excerpt, this excerpt of the preface, which Van Richten tore from Doru's book in the midst of a furious argument, reads as follows. And it just has literally part of the introduction to that book. So let's create it. We're going to do it as a journal entry or an item. What do you guys think? I think we just do it. We'll just do it as an item. So we'll just make it a loot item. We'll create it. We're going to go just in here, go to our root. Let's pop over to our, well, let's do user data, and let's just see what we can find if we type book. And let's see what some images look like. It's actually torn from a book, so it's probably more of paper. Oops, paper. It's not a book. Ooh, it's not actually a book itself. Paper. And we hit this button. That works. That will work. Good enough, it will work. And then in the description, we're just going to edit it. And we are literally going to copy this text. And we're just going to paste it in here. Let's see. There we go. And then let's do, there we are. Sometimes we have to do that. So this is what's found. So we can call it a torn page from a book. They don't know what book. And that's that. And then we can actually go, let's go to the scene itself. That's the exterior. Is there an interior? I don't know that there is an interior. But we have another thing that occurs through the night that we're going to prep. And I really had to think about how I wanted to do this one because I wanted to do something with it. But it says that the players have a dream, right? And the dream, they're visited by Madame Eva. And she basically tells them that she knows that they're here. She wants them to come to the Sur Pool. There's darkness descending, but there's hope, all that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and import the Sur Pool scenes because there's a tent interior, Madame Eva's tent interior, which is kind of referenced in this dream. So let's go to our Molinet. Let's make sure we are logged in. Our Patreon, because it's a Beneos battle map, and obviously that is a Patreon subscription for me. So let's do scenes, let it index. We'll grab Beneos, and then we're gonna just see if we can find Sur Pool Camp. Right there it is. I'm just gonna grab the 4K and import it. I'm going to import all of it. Just might as well get it in here. It's going to be one of the next stops anyway. So we'll get that all shoved in. Take a second. It's going to, Scene Packer is going to do its thing. And we're just going to wait for this to change to the documentation. And that's how we'll know that everything imported fine and dandy-o. Just like that. So now we know it's done. We're good to go. We can close that. Everything's good. Right. And then here we have Eva's tent. Tent 1, tent 2. So let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to F5 so that my my links work. Bear with me. All right. So let's check out one. Here we go. Yeah, this is the one we're going to use for the dream. Okay. This is the one we're going to use for the dream. So I've been thinking, like, how the heck do I do this, right? Do I want to set it up to have to take it down? What do I want to do here? And I decided I'm just gonna set it up to take it down, or rather, we're going to set it up with a button that turns everything invisible when I don't need it later on, right? And then that way I don't have to rebuild it again the next time. So how are we going to make this look like a dream? So first and foremost, we're going to use some tiles. Okay, so I'm going to just draw a tile right here and create that tile. Then I'm going to go to my compendiums, go to my Bailey wiki content under utility pieces, find nuts and bolts, look for the folder here for building scenes. And then I'm going to use this macro right here, fit tile to scene. I'm just going to drag it down into my quick bar for the time being, close that out. Now, if I have this tile selected and I click this button, you're going to see it blows up to the exact size of the scene, and I don't have to mess with it, right? So there we have that. So now let's say I want to make it look like shimmery, like dream-like. So I'm going to use token magic effects, some type of a filter on here to accomplish that, right? So let's see what we can find. Blue rays, solar ripples, superheat, devoured by the bewitched. Yeah, no, that's not going to do it. All right, let's see about flood. Okay, that's kind of cool. Let's see if we can compound on that, shall we? What about? Let's see what we go with this. All right, let's pop this open. And now I want a Madame Eva, right? Like I need a Madame Eva. So let me see. How about Madame Eva? Again, I took this. This is Ben's. Comes with the Beneos battle maps. I took it into my editing software, and I just. There we go. Look at there. I just made it transparent background. So now I can place her right here. Right. And if I needed to pull, if I wanted to have that visible, I actually think it's cool to not have it visible. It gives me something to show them later. It's different. So we got kind of this vibe going on. I'm still not 100% sure that I feel like I want a little bit more. As it relates to being like dreamy. So let me just look one last time here. Yeah, see that doesn't work either. Let's just stop all of this. Let's go back to, yeah, that's not going to work. I think we might just have to take what we can get here, guys, and just go with the flood so as not to bore the heck out of everybody. How about spectral body? So if it wasn't for the edges, that would be okay. It's almost a little bit much. I wonder if we can apply both and it would look all right. I think we just stick with the one. I think we're just going to stick with the one. So we're going to delete the filter. We'll come back in. We'll do... Oh, wait, that's better. That's better, guys. That's what we want right there. That looks pretty creepy. And then I wonder if we bring her. I think that looks good. That looks very dreamy. For me, anyway, it looks dreamy. So she can, do her whole welcome, weary travelers. Welcome to my humble tent, the whole thing. And then they'll do the dream. They wake up. There's a pale light coming from outside. It's the March of the Dead. Not sure how I want to do that yet, the March of the Dead. I'm not sure yet. I might mess around with some monks, but that's what I'm actively working on. So we're going to revisit the March of the Dead. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do it. If I want to try to attempt to do it like a scene like this, or if I want to try to do a top-down battle map, maybe use some monk styles with the move feature. I can do that either way, but not sure. But they wake up, they have the March of the Dead. They will notice a swarm of bats hanging from the eaves of some surrounding buildings, which are spies of Strahd. And then the following morning when they get up, they're going to go and do the church, which is what's going to be our next stop. It's going to be the church. So, yeah. So there we go. That's the first three locations. Very light in actual physical preparation. Very light, very heavy in role-playing preparation. So there's a lot of reading to do here. I recommend keeping notes handy. I recommend absolutely making sure that you're referencing the Dragnacarta COS that we built into the game. Act 1, Arc B, right? And that's, you're going to find all the information that we were just talking about. The Blood of the Vine Tavern, here's the statue, everything, right? So having this inside the game really makes it easy. It's got all the box text. I would absolutely read this 3 times and be, just be prepared. I think if you're prepared and you really nail the RP in this, man, you're going to make your players really feel the heaviness that's supposed to be going on in this horror setting, right? And it's going to really set the tone for your campaign. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. If you guys have any questions, definitely hit me down below, about the scenes or anything I might have used. I didn't use a lot today, which is always a good thing. We will finish Village of Barovia. When we do, we will probably pause the Curse of Strahd videos so that I can, for like a week or 2, so that I can jump back and fill the needs of some other things, right? So I've got some folks that want to see more on the Cypher system stuff, and I've got some folks that want to see more Shadow Dark stuff. So I want to make sure I kind of cover all my bases and give everybody kind of what they're looking for. So anyway, we're going to finish this up, probably 1 to 2 more videos, and then we'll move on from there. If you found this video useful, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, join me for the ride. Let me know anything that you would like to see, any other VTTs that you would like to see. I work with alchemy a little bit too, so it could be cool. But anyway, I'm Greg. This is Tales from the Pythian. This is the Curse of Strahd series, video 10. We'll catch you guys later.